Hello and welcome to Immortal Behaviour for this week.
Many ways to win a game. Get your team home as a halfback. He won the game with his kicking game.
Andrew kicks back and across. It has been a freakish kick by Andrew John.
I thought he'd maybe retire, but forgive me, Father, for I have said.
Maybe God has come to Marathon.
Welcome to another episode of Immortal Behaviour. Joey, good to see you.
Hello.
Yep, some new Nike
morning?
gear.
No, old Nike.
Old Nike gear. I like that.
Well, we went to Nike factory
We
last
did,
week.
yep.
Now, you got to go ring-a-ding-ding, cash for comments. There you are. What's the board
Should I
for
do
the
that?
radio?
So
Yeah, here we go. Hashtag snip, snip, snip.
All right, let's get started with some footy.
We go to Nike and all I get is like a sweatband and a pair of socks. I come home
'Cause
and
the kids-
like, yeah, I'll take those shoes. So my son's wearing the same size shoes.
Yeah,
Anyway,
There
good
you
socks
go.
and sweatbands I got.
it's good to be the eighth children. That's
Yes,
for sure.
for sure.
Lots of benefits. All right, let's talk about some footy. Parramatta. The Eels not doing well at the moment, especially considering the players that they have in their team where they sit on the ladder. We saw some vision last week of Mitchell Moses spraying some of his teammates. What did you make of this? You think it's a good thing?
I think it's good. The sprays have got to come from the players, from your senior players with each other. They've got to keep everyone accountable. But you've got to pick your times. And I think it's important because Moses is the dominant player there. Where you can see when he's not there how it affects them. I still can't believe they're sitting last on the table. I think tonight when they play South Sydney, there'll be a big improvement at home. But it's the players who've got to keep everyone accountable. That's the key. That can't come from the coach all the time. Coaches now, they're getting kneed in the head. It's got to come from the players. But he can go over. That's his personality, but that's him. He's intense and, he keeps them all accountable.
Is it a sign that things aren't
No.
going the way, crumbling a little bit?
No. You'd see when they got to the grand final. 3 years ago, Mitchell was that, intense, emotional guy on the field when things wouldn't go their way or whatever. He'd keep people accountable. Not at all. I copped my biggest spray I copped, I came off the bench. In those days, you play reserve grade, and I sat on the bench and I came on. I was only a baby, I was 18 or something. Anyway, something happened and the ball went away from me and I walked. And nothing came back. They didn't score a try. One of the senior blokes grabbed me and just hammered me on the field for about 30 seconds. And I was like, you're right. I bludged. You know what?
You never did it.
Never did it again. Never did it again.
Do you remember giving anyone some sprays?
Yeah.
Who do you remember giving sprays to
Well, I used
quite
to spray
often?
myself quite a bit. There's a few I'm not really proud of. I gave, a few. I won't name names, but I gave a couple of really bad ones. But in the heat of the battle, you got to do that to win.
What do you
it's
mean?
not for- it's not for everyone.
What's a bad spray?
Get off the field. You won't tackle. Off. Off! If you're going to dish that up with us, you will never play with us again. You know what? You picked his defence up after that.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you see the reaction straight away? You can see it sort of just shock someone a little bit.
It's in the heat of battle.
Yeah.
Maybe we walk into a scrum, you got 10 seconds and keep them accountable. But there'd be sprays at training too. Like if someone came late to training, the players are keeping accountable. If someone's bludging or not training hard in the gym, the senior players would keep them accountable. And the senior players would keep other senior players accountable. It's got to mostly come from the players. And that's why clubs or teams that have that really strong senior group who keeps everyone accountable, they're the successful ones.
And they're not worried, they're not scared about you pulling people into line when they need to be.
There's certain clubs that are down the bottom and have been down the bottom for the last decade. If they had that senior player who just goes, right, this is what we're doing. Look at the Bulldogs now, they've got Stephen Crichton. Trains that hard, everyone is accountable to Stephen Crichton. It just makes such a difference. Just trying to think of the top of my head when clubs sign key players who, keep everyone accountable and the club goes on. I reckon
Adam Reynolds?
Adam Reynolds. I have no doubt at Penrith, a lot of it is player driven. I reckon a lot of them senior players would keep everyone accountable.
You look at the Roosters, Jared Warrior-Hargraves, how long he's been there, and he's such a senior player and demands so much respect.
And sometimes it's not what he says, it's the look you get off Jared. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
And can you sometimes see that in teams that are struggling, that lack of senior leadership?
And you know what they're going to blow up about? I saw Moses and Gutho into it on the field. They're both similar personalities. When they walk off the field, they don't think about it at all. And if there was an issue, they go up and say, "Oh mate, come on, let's talk about it," and it's done. It's hard to describe how intense and how emotional you get out there when the game's on the line. Like especially Gutho threw that really bad pass, which Bradman Best picked up and scored the second. If that ball goes to him, Parramatta win. So everything was at stake. They're coming last. They got to win. I think you'll see tonight they'll be desperate.
And you'd prefer to see that passion from players because it actually shows that they care. What about Parramatta? Can you see them? Obviously, they've gone through this. They're going through this tough period. They're struggling for wins and where they are at the moment on the ladder. They obviously had they lost their coach, Brad Arthur. Can you see them picking up towards the end of the season, or is this year?
If they get players back, they're missing a fair few players, but they've still got Moses and Dylan Brown and Gutherson and Regan Campbell-Gillard, Junior. The player I think they're missing has been Jermaine Hopgood. He does a lot of work in the middle of the field, but also provides that offload, which they love playing off offloads. But they forgot how to win. They're down on confidence, which, once again, how you lose confidence and then how it comes back, no one knows. And it might be a big win, it might be a big tackle, it might be a really strong set of six defensively that they get confidence from it. But no, they'll get some wins before the end of the year. What
about the situation with Zach Lomax? He was obviously the Dragons. He's been with them. They've struggled for a fair bit, and he's signed now with the Eels. The Dragons are
they're on the way.
They're on the way up, and then the Eels are.
I think the Eels
struggling.
are going to be fine. When they get everyone back, where they fit Blaze Talangi in, I understand they've got some really good young players coming through. The only worry for Parramatta is an ageing pack. You've got Junior and Regan Campbell-Gillard, whether they're late 20s or early 30s. Sean Lane, late 20s, early 30s. Ryan Madison's getting on. So they've got an ageing pack. So whether they've got to move someone there, I don't know what's coming through in the forwards there, but they have an ageing pack.
Is that going to be something that the new coach does pretty quickly, rejig the roster a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. Well, is it tomorrow? Then Friday they're going to name the coach. I understand, which is a good thing. There hasn't been any leaks, which has been really good.
Well, even with the leak of letting the coach go.
Yeah.
That did not come out at all.
Yeah, well, moving forward, I think they'll be fine. I'm just interested. I think Jason Riles will get the job. I think they'll announce. I haven't heard anything. There's no leaks going in these. But, I think Jason Riles will be named the coach tomorrow, and maybe some fresh ideas. Look, Brad, I've got a lot of respect for Brad. I think he's a top-line coach. He's been there for 10 years. Sometimes you need some different ideas and a different voice. So whoever gets the job, wish them well. But they won't be down for long, Eels.
All right, well, hopefully for some Para fans, we get to see some Para wins as well.
Although I keep reading that Dylan Brown, that the Roosters are looking at him. But he's on contract. I suppose contracts now don't stand for much. And getting back to Zach. Zach signed a contract. You're signed, mate. You can't backflip.
Well, we've seen some backflips happen in the game of rugby
you
league.
signed a contract, that's it.
All right, let's talk a little bit of State of Origin. Gordon Tallis, he says that Queensland were bullied in Melbourne. How much do you think that they are missing an enforcer, someone like Tom Flegler? Because they have had...
Yeah.
So no Tino, no Tom Flegler.
Tino's the one they're missing. And they're missing Tom Gilbert. He's one of those effort players who's just a million miles an hour. But the big one they're missing is Tino. Remember a few series gone by, he stood up to Payne. Him and Payne have gone at it. They're missing that play one front rower. And there's not many around. We got Payne. He's the one that goes... They're missing Tino and Flegler. But more Tino than Flegler. Flegler just behind.
Do you think that Queensland will have some changes in those positions then?
I don't know. I've been quite vocal. The big decision for them is the right centre, whether they keep Valentine Holmes there. Xavier Coates is now out, so whether they put Valentine on the wing and bring Cobbo in at centre, or they roll the dice with Dane Gagai, who's been there before. I don't know who they'll pick. And David Fafita will come in.
Yeah.
He'll come in on the bench. But yeah, they're missing that. They're missing Tuna.
Well, Gordy was saying as well that he suggested the Queensland pick up the phone and try to talk Josh Papali'i into coming out of retirement.
Yeah,
Do you think
totally
that he really? Do you think that he still be up for it?
Totally agree. He's not at that level. He's a big match player. He's one of those players that has another gear in him. When he gets to big games, we've seen what he's done for Queensland all those years. So yeah, I think that'd be a good move.
Would you be worried if Queensland called up Ponga for a bench position?
Yes. Yeah.
Would you be worried as a Novocastrian, or would you be worried as a New South Welshman?
I can remember Kalen's first game. He came on and played in the middle as a middle forward and nearly got me out of the match. He's a once-in-a-lifetime player. I know he's been banged up with injuries the last couple of years, but far out. When he's on, he puts the fear of God in everyone. So just rest up, Kalen.
Could you see that happening? Could you see him coming into that utility role?
Yeah, I could see him going to that jersey 14, although it's talk that Harry Grant's got a bad sternum. So would Ben Hunt then have to play 80 and dummy half? Kalen could play dummy half, and defending in the front line in the middle would be a big test. Depends what happens with Reece Walsh. If he's busted or if he gets hurt. If he's fit, Reece Walsh starts at fullback. I think Billy said that before Origin. He said Reece is a fullback. Yeah. He's underdone, Billy. Don't pick Kalen.
Word from out of...
Those little fingers.
What are you hashtagging?
Don't pick KP.
About Gal hashtag winning the other night. Were you in commentary for that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Bulldogs and Sharks.
Oh, that's right. And what happened to the end?
And then
hashtag losing, Gal.
Hashtag losing.
He's not watching this. That's all you need.
Hey, no, he's a regular Immortal Behaviour listener. All right, Lee Martin. Do you think he's going to be considered public enemy number one at Suncorp Stadium? Can you see Queensland stopping him, limiting his impact?
They'll try to.
But can you see it actually? He's a gun.
Top of his game. I don't know. It's hard to hate Liam because he's. I don't know. He seems that sort of character where everyone can see there's no bullshit. And he's a knockabout. Just plays that hard.
A fierce competitor.
Our back row of Angus on the left, Liam Martin on the right, and Cam Murray in the middle just blew him away. Once again, the best teams I always talk about, the best teams I played in had Badiris and wing. But I remember one game, looking at our back row, we had Craig Fitzgibbon, Ben Kennedy and Luke Ricketson. Played huge minutes, fit, mobile, and with those working and then Badiris and wing, they couldn't get near us. So this back row, far out. And then you throw in a bloke who goes all right called Payne Haas. And there's a bloke off the bench goes okay called Spencer Liniu. Spencer this year.
I know, he's been unbelievable.
He came on in game one when New South Wales were no chance really with Joseph Suaalii off. But when he came on, he totally turned the game. And then in game two, same thing. It's a really good pack for New South Wales. Really good balanced pack.
Yeah, Spencer's just got a spark about him. Comes on and just...
He would be a nightmare to tackle. The blokes with low centre of gravity who are built like a barrel. But the thing is with Spencer, he can go standing still to top speed in about 5 metres. It'd be a nightmare. And also he's the left-hander. Tackling players who had the ball in their left hand, they're awkward. It's like boxing with a southpaw when I used to fight Mike Tyson.
All right, Suncorp.
Yeah.
You've gone up there, you've done it before. What advice would you give to the New South Wales players, not just on game day, but in the days leading up to it?
Embrace the challenge. You've been working all your life for this, all those lonely times when you're training on your own or you're training that hard that you're at the point of exhaustion and you're vomiting up. This is what you're working for. And in your career, you get a handful of those games, whether they're grand finals or big semi-finals, but a decider in Brisbane is one of those games. You'll only get maybe 2 or 3 of those in your whole career. So you just got to enjoy the challenge. It is just so exciting going up there to try to win the series. Winning a series in Game 3 is unbelievable, but winning a series up there is just the sweetest thing you can do.
Do you remember? Do you remember? Like obviously, it's such a big occasion. You get so overwhelmed with emotions. But do you remember anything anyone was saying in the sheds beforehand?
No, I can't really remember too much. There's a lot of shit talk before the game. You just got from certain individuals, and you just shut up. Would you be quiet?
Do you remember what was going through your head?
Well, it was late in my career. In that 2005, and I didn't think I'd ever get back. I didn't think I'd ever play Origin again. So to get that call up was just so special. So that's those Game 2 and Game 3 of 05 is so special because after doing my knee and break my jaw, I never thought I'd play Origin again. So it was just so special. But it's always great to play up Suncorp because you get out there and it's just like, this is all we got. It's us versus this state. It's us. So you got your, that's where you build those combinations, you build your trust in those moments. At Suncorp, it's just going to be so good.
So what's the mental approach for the player? Do you try and
totally
keep calm,
or you keep calm?
Yeah, keep calm.
Keep calm because when you run out, I get goosebumps thinking about it. We've spoke about it. The atmosphere hits you in the face like a sonic boom, and then your adrenaline just goes whoosh. So it's important that you stay nice and relaxed because there's no worry about motivation because the adrenaline when you run on that field, and then when you're standing there when you're doing your anthem, Gus used to talk about it. Gus School, find your loved ones in the crowd, find your family or your wife or your wives, and just sit there and see them, and you pick them out and you're singing the anthem. You can see how proud they are. You're just like, this is good.
Could you spot your parents?
Yeah. Well, I remember looking at Mum. I was like, "Where's Dad?"
He's at the bar. He's at the bar while everyone's.
The Cessnock handcuffs, carrying 2 beers down. It's Australian fish.
Oh, that's exciting! It actually gets everyone excited, no matter even the fans who are there. It is going to be such an incredible atmosphere.
See, one thing at those big games during the anthem, or even when you have a moment's silence in those big games, there's no idiots from the crowd screaming out. Everyone respects it because they understand how big a moment it is. As we say it every year, I know, but this build up for this Game 3, in memory, I just can't think of when it's going to be so intense. It's just going to be a different beast up there. It's such a different beast. It's going to be so good.
I feel like it is. I feel like this Origin series has so much anticipation around it, and yeah, we cannot wait for it. All right, let's talk quickly. Chad Townsend signing with the Roosters. What did you make of this?
Really surprised. Really surprised. I've heard him talk about he's going to mentor Sam Walker and Sandon Smith. Sam Walker doesn't need mentoring. He needs the other way. Just leave him alone and let him play. He's a free spirit. You cannot put too much information in Sam's head. Sandon Smith might be different. I don't know Sandon. I don't know what makes him tick. But already at the club, you have Cooper Cronk and you have Mitchell Pearce there. So I find it. I was really surprised. I suppose it gives you backup.
So how would they play? How would you go week in and week out? Would you
He's
put
reserve grade. He's not playing first grade. If they're all fit, because once again the combinations in the halves. Sam Walker is an on-ball halfback, so he's like an old-fashioned halfback. He's in first receiver. Without boring people, they've changed the way they play. Victor was that halfback in attack. He's gone to an edge.
Yeah.
So now they've got, I can't pronounce his white, Nafanu White in the middle, who's an unbelievable. He's just a runner, where Sam's on the ball. So what he needs a running 5'8". It's like Cogger and Hastings. They just don't go together. I think the same at Origin. Moses and Nathan Cleary won't go together. Chad Townsend couldn't play 5'8" outside Sam Walker.
So then who?
Because they're just both on-ball halfbacks.
So Sam Walker 7. Who's 6 next year? Then is it Sandon Smith?
Unless they have a rabbit up their hat. Yeah, but nothing's coming out of the Roosters who they're chasing. What, in my
Well, then
opinion,
is
if
it-
the Roosters had to sign a 5'8", I'm not saying this guy they need a Matt Burton type player.
Yeah.
A bigger 5'8", a runner of the ball, a left footer to help Sam Walker's kicking. Sam Walker's long kicking game isn't that great. Short kicking game, best in the competition by a mile.
So then are you surprised by the signing of Chad Townsend?
I was really surprised. It really came from left field. But it's a bit of backup for Sam, but I couldn't see him playing together. I couldn't see Sam playing halfback and Chad playing halfback. 5'8", because they're both
Too similar.
Too similar.
So where does it leave the Cowboys then going forward for next year? How do you see
Well, they have
their spine?
Purdue,
Jackson?
Far out, what a player he is. He's playing out of position, he's playing centre. I understand he came through as a half, so the way he plays, I think 5'8" will really suit him. Jake Clifford, he was at Newcastle, Jake, had a fair bit to do him. He's got all the tools to be a top liner. Whether later in his career he really picks up, I hope he does. I don't know what's coming through there in the system. I'm trying to think of the Queensland under-19s, the halfback was from Brisbane. I don't really know what's coming through, but they must have a plan. They got some really good young players coming through the Cowboys. But Purdue, I see him as a 5'8". But they'll have a plan.
All right, lastly, before we finish Immortal Behaviour, your travel tips. They've been very popular this
Have
year. So it's been a while since we've had one.
Okay.
Have you got a good travel tip? Because you're heading over to Perth. We've got a
Perth.
game in Perth in a few weeks'
Flying
time.
Jetstar direct to Bustleton.
Yep. Qantas direct to Perth and then driving to Margaret River.
Well, I sent you and Freddie the message.
Yeah.
3 hours and 10 minutes.
I think it's a nice drive.
No. The head noise would be deafening. I hate sitting still in the car. So Bustleton's only 40 minutes.
40
from
minutes,
Margaret
yeah.
River. Perfect. I don't know how to say this, so they might have to edit it out.
I think
you just go to the
think I
doctors
know.
and say, I'm really nervous about flying. They can give you these like lollies that make you relax and just, oh, how good do I feel? I'm just going to melt into the chair. A good book starts with, what's Holmes's first name? Plays for the Cowboys. What's his first name? Yeah. But do it responsibly. Those they slow the big horse down, let me tell you. Get a good book if you like reading a book. But something I've found out lately is binging on series. That's one healthy binge I do. I've been watching Succession.
Oh, Succession's great. And
the other one, what was the other one? Shameless.
Oh, I haven't seen Shameless.
But the Pommy one, not the American one. The Pommy
yeah.
one is just so good. Frank Gallagher.
Yeah.
My sort of man. But get one of those series and binge on it. All up, bit of relaxation. Far out.
Do you bring the iPad on the plane?
No, I haven't got the computer.
An iPad's not a computer.
Well,
it's like a big phone.
Yeah.
You just watch it on the phone?
No.
No.
I get my missus, she takes the computer on. Because we're not doing a little long haul there. The longest we've been is Perth for the Origin.
5 hours.
5 hours, piece of cake. But the international flights are the best because there's no time. No one looks down at you. Even if you got a 9 o'clock flight, get there early and have a couple of sharpeners before you get on. People watching at airports are just the best. But whatever you do it responsibly.
All right, there you go. Some great advice from the 8th Immortal. Enjoy the footy over the weekend and we'll catch you again next week.
This year, NRL on 9 is your one-stop shop for all footy.
That's right, Freddie. Not about the highlights. Action. 7 days a week.
Billy and Gus podcast, get that on your drive on the way home. Immortal Behaviour. Grab a seat on the couch for that. And, of course, my favourite, Freddie in the 8.
The best footy brains, the biggest games.
Don't trust the algorithm. Subscribe to NRL on 9 and get all your entertainment there.